Hello MMK View viewers, I'm Mahesh Adithya, geopolitical analyst. Today we are going to discuss a very niche topic and a very sensitive topic. In fact, this is about the soft power diplomacy behind Ram Janmabhoomi in Ayodhya, and this is purely diplomacy, and this is purely based on an external affairs and geopolitical analysis. So before going to the video, I would like to give a small disclaimer. This video is not generated to have bias towards one particular religion or one particular political party. This particular video is based on the analysis, because from a layman's perspective everything is from an emotional point of view, but that is sentimental point of view, but from an academic perspective this is seen as an analysis based on the self-interest. So let us dive deep into this video. So as of now, if you see, a lot of countries have expressed their willingness to come to the Ram Janmabhoomi inauguration on January 22nd, and Ayodhya is actually now seen as one of the vibrant cities that's been popping up on the internet, and a lot of Google searches have been happening. First on the top of the list is actually Lakshadweep, but after Lakshadweep it's actually Ayodhya, because a lot of people have started to do research on that. This particular video is also about how other countries, that is India, influences other countries in various other aspects. So the first thing is that we have seen a lot of news stating that nearby countries or our neighboring countries have expressed the open willingness for Ram Janmabhoomi in Ayodhya. We have seen that Shaligram is actually a precious stone for Lord Vishnu, and this has actually made up its way all the way from Nepal to India, and they say that it's motherland of Sita, and Ayodhya is actually son-in-law sort of a country. So that sort of an exchange is also there, and we can also see that there is open invitation from India to Southeast Asian countries such as Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia in specific, because Indonesia is also known for Balinese Hinduism and Balinese Ramayana. And Balinese Ramayana is actually very, very famous despite having significant Muslim population over there. So if you see, after these countries which I have mentioned, there are also few countries that are yet to join, that is Fiji, Guyana. Then you also have Mauritius on the line. You also have South Africa and Reunion. If you see, these are actually countries with significant Hindu population. So these are one of the main countries that express their open willingness to come to Ram Janmabhoomi as of now. But seeing all of these things, how does this come under soft power? So before discussing deep into the facts and the figures of soft power diplomacy, let's just see what is soft power diplomacy and what is hard power. I'll just explain you in very simple terms, and I'll explain it to you very, very shortly and briefly. So soft power diplomacy is when you deal with relationship with other countries or countering with other countries, especially with bilateral relations and multilateral relations, in a way that it is very, very mild and it is very, very simplistic. Through political forms, through political agenda, or through their political ideology, or through cultural relations, soft power diplomacy can be explained. The diaspora communities, the people-to-people relations and all comes under soft power diplomacy. Whereas if you see military, defense, the economic sanctions that you have, economic stress, the trade relationships, trade barriers, and the military deals that is happening, and the defense cooperation, all these come under hard power. So now that we have seen both hard power and soft power, let us see how this particular context fits into soft power diplomacy. If we talk about soft power diplomacy, this is not the first time that the present BJP government is actually acting. I would like to take a small flashback. In 2015, actually, Modi ji, our Honorable Prime Minister, he introduced something called the Panchamrit policy, wherein it was considered to be an alternative for the punch shield diplomacy that Nehru introduced at that point in time. So this was sort of like an updated version of what Modi ji had actually brought in. So as per this Panchamrit policy, I would like to quote. The fifth, they have actually 5 different mottos and the motives of Panchamrit policy. Among that, actually the fifth principle states that Sanskriti evam sabhyata, which means cultural and civilizational links. Sanskriti evam sabhyata, which means only the cultures and the traditions will keep us intact. So that is one of the umbilical cord relationship to have better multilateral and bilateral relations. So in this case, government is actually moving forward because in 2021, if you see, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the Kushinagar airport. Kushinagar is actually, for viewers who don't know about Kushinagar, it was actually the city that is one of the most revered holy sites for Buddhism, and it was the place where Lord Buddha attained the Mahaparinirvana, or the salvation. We call it a salvation, but in Pali term it's called Mahaparinirvana. So this is considered one of the most significant places. In 2021, he inaugurated the Kushinagar airport. So he invited monks from Nepal, especially from Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is also known for Theravada Buddhism. He called upon monks. He called upon monks from Sri Lanka, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand, and various other countries as well. So this is sort of a civilizational link that he again and again emphasizes. This is the exact thing what happens to Ayodhya as well. So if you see, Hinduism is one of the primary Indic religions. We are not going to talk about how Hinduism evolved or how Hinduism had various fractions, or how Ramayana is interpreted into different versions across different countries. We're not going to talk about that, but we are going to talk about the academic perspective, as in how soft power diplomacy plays a vital role in it. So if you see, at that time when I mentioned Kushinagar, it was called as Buddhist diplomacy because they in the sense, the Indian government sort of replicated what China is trying to see, because China at that point in time, every 3 years they used to have something called World Buddhism Conference. Pre-COVID it used to be very regular, but after COVID it was a bit discontinued, I would say. So World Buddhist Forum was something that every 3 years the CCP, Communist Party, used to follow, bringing in monks from all across Asia and all across the world to explicitly say that China is the hub for Buddhism. So likewise, even India is trying to do. India is trying to say that Hinduism is not just your religion and my religion, it is our religion, wherein culmination of several Hindus could actually meet up in one particular location, and this could actually have a better people to people connect. So this is exactly what he's trying to say. And another thing which you have is Defense Minister Rajnath Singh. He received holy water from 7 continents. It seems like with the presence of Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Sangam, or it's also called Tirtha Kshetra, so it's Ram Janmabhoomi Tirtha Kshetra. So this is one particular trust, wherein in front of the trust he had received water. Our Defense Minister Rajnath Singh got water from 7 different continents. This is actually sort of recreating Rama's Pattabhishekam is called coronation, wherein a king's coronation is celebrated in a humongous manner, in a very magnanimous way. So Rama's Pattabhishekam or coronation is actually adorned by the Sapta Sagaras, that is the holy waters from the 7 oceans were actually poured. So as a symbolic representation of that, he got water from the 7 different continents. So this is to say that it's not just a mythological, it's not just based on religious sentiments, but it also acts as a statement telling that the religion of Hinduism is not particularly belongs to one particular country, wherein it is a universal religion. This is to prove that it has universal significance, and every single continent or every single region on earth is part of Hinduism. This is one of the symbolic representation of just not just mythological, but as I said, integrating countries through religion, because religion is actually one of few, I would say, I wouldn't say faith, but it's religions are institutions where it could integrate people or integrate countries. So this could be seen in such a manner. So what are the main reasons for it? So we have stated these are the symbolism for soft power diplomacy, these are the intentions, but what are the main reasons for having such a move or promoting this event in such a grand scale? So first thing is to integrate ASEAN countries, not just ASEAN as such, the Asian culture as such, because as I said before, China has been conducting the World Buddhist Forum for many years. For once in 3 years they used to conduct. So they are trying to say that China is the hub for Buddhism. Likewise, India is trying to say that Hinduism is one of the binding factors for countries to stay together, and that's why if you see the invitation that's been sent for Ram Bhoomi is for the countries from South Asia, the neighboring South Asian countries, as well as to the Southeast Asian countries. So these are some of the things that India is trying to lure, because this is pretty much common in politics. As we common people, laymen see it from an emotional point of view, from a sentimental point of view, but diplomacy doesn't work like that. Diplomacy is purely based on some sort of interest. In our case, it's always been self-interest. So this is also seen as a way of countering China, because China, although Buddhism emerged from India, China is trying to have sort of Buddhism attraction. So likewise, India is trying to have an Hinduism attraction by having friendship across world, across countries. And the second thing is to, as I said, to improve people to people relation, because religion is something wherein like all people would come together to celebrate something. India as a country has always been shedding light to across all religion, across all countries, across several regions as such. So right from the Chola period, right from the Gupta Mauryan Empire till date, religion has been one of the main source of having people together, binding people together in the name of faith. So this is seen as one of the major attributes of how India is trying to have religion as the forefront. Having said all this, I would like, by the end of this video, I would also like to give one particular surprising fact. In several other interviews, people said that BJP, or especially the RSS, they say that Ayodhya is just the beginning, because after Ayodhya, several other Hinduism sort of shrines would actually pop up during the BJP rule, be it Mathura, or be it Dwarka, or be it other religion, like other regions across India. I would like to say that after Ram Janmabhoomi, all other Hindu institutions come together, because this is also a crisis between the minority and majority. So it's not just between religions, but it also between ethnicities and races. One surprising fact that I said is, actually I would like to say that even countries like Russia and USA has a role to play in this. I would like to give another surprising fact that why these two countries have a major role, because we all know ISKCON, correct? ISKCON is an institution which promotes the worship of Lord Krishna as such. We all have several discrepancies and disagreements with ISKCON, but if you see, I would like to give the exact numbers as well. Over 15 ISKCON centers are there in Russia, and over 50 ISKCON centers are there in the United States. So when I was talking about people-to-people relations, think of the impact that both the countries have towards India. Citizens of United States and citizens of Russia do practice Hinduism till date. And even if you go to Moscow or St. Petersburg, or if you go to New York or Chicago, you would find ISKCON centers with a lot of hardcore Christians converting into Hinduism. So this also has a role to play in the government as well. Do not forget that Jewish were actually taking lobbying into consideration when it during the I would say I wouldn't go deeper into the Israel United States relationship, but if you look the Senate and House of Representatives, the Jewish faith has a lot of lobbying to do. Likewise, Hinduism have that potential to do lobbying in the Senate and House of Representatives, as well as in the Kremlin. So this is pretty, I would say, I wouldn't say a shocking thing, but in the upcoming days as well, this soft power diplomacy will actually penetrate into the governing bodies of other countries. So this is a short and crisp video that I want to convey to you guys. Hope you find this very informative. And if you have any criticism or if you have any doubts, please do mention in the comment section below. Namaste, Jai Hind, thank you so much.